siphinde sinamukele futhi babukeli ohlelweni lethu i-Reading with the Gang. So incwadi esiniphathele yona namhlanje ititle yayo ithi 101 questions to ask before getting engaged. Ibhalwe ngu-H. Norman Wright. So Bafo, the book that I sent you.
Ngitholile incwadi Bafo. What's very interesting ukuthi the first sentence of the first paragraph, it says, it's actually a warning, ne?
Yeah.
It says never marry a stranger. Like, what's your take on that?
Yeah, man. Hey, this is very sensitive. I mean, abanye abantu angeke bazibayithatha kahle lento, but I think abantu abaningi baba intrigued into marriage or into taking bigger steps. Izinto isaqala kuma relationships abazinika kahle isikhathi sokuthi bafunda abantu babazi abantu nanokuthi what is there to compromise and not yabona into kanjalo. So ba focus kakhulu on the romantic part of the relationship, bakhohle ukuthi there's something more other than just the romantic stuff.
No, ngiyakuzwa, and I totally agree with you lapho. Like, it's very important to take time and get to know a person before you guys get involved and commit into more serious things. And it's very important ukuthi nawe uzazi ukuthi what do you want from a relationship, yeah, so that ungazitholi so uzfoster into things. Right? And the more time you get to spend with the person, uyabafunda, and you get to see red flags and all those things.
Yeah, man. Manje red flags. Khona engithintile la on page 4. I think it was on page 4. Red flags. So khona ebhalwe umvuka rights la on the third paragraph.
Uthini?
It's kanjena. I think one of the things I find valuable in dating now is all the experience I have compiled over the years from different situations. I have reached a point now in my 40s where I feel I finally know some of the answers to the questions that I didn't even know to ask in my 20s or 30s. I mean, when this thing is very common, man. Like, I can relate to Gulento, and I think futhi abantu abaningi asebethe ukukhula can relate to this. Like, most intwana khona lezi zinto lezi ozenzayo nje ungakazi, like you do some things without a clear understanding or a better understanding ukuthi kahle kahle what is going on. Like, nje mawuthola umntwana you're blind, like, yeah, that's it. You don't even know what kind of questions shall I ask mhlawumbe. I think another mutu is stating something like that. Like, how do you relate to that?
Yeah, I think uyela lapho, that's what he's trying to explain. Based on my experience, like, there's things now that I know you should ask and just straight up relationship isaqala yabo.
Yeah, man.
Things bengazazi back then yabo. So over the years I've gained little experience. There's certain things you need to know about your partner from the get-go. And ngaleyo ndlela uyakhona ukuspota nama red flags from kwi partner yakho.
Yeah, man.
Yes. And then it also helps yabo as time goes by ukuthi you end up usuzazi wena ukuthi yabo ungubani and izinto ozifunayo from relationships yabo.
Yeah, man.
That will also stop you ukuthi ungalokhuzi yabo. Like, let me quote you something lana. Sure. Page 6. Yeah, page 6. Sorry, page 5 yabo.
Page 5. Sure.
Yeah. Lapha masiya ngasekugcineni ne. If you have to talk to yourself into something, ne. Don't do it. Don't do it. Kahle kahle ukuthi yabo, it should come natural lento le umuntu mawumthanda yabo kuyenzakalela.
Yeah, because the instincts never lie, man.
They never,
if the feels tell you good now, man, I'm not going back there.
No.
Why go there?
Yeah. Nje first instinct yabo, first impression counts. Ukuthi umuntu mawumbona mawukhuluma naye kuba nayo, that's something, ne?
Sure, man.
Yeah, so don't ignore that feeling. Let me quote you something from the book lana, ne?
Yeah.
So Uti will refer from a friend of his name.
Sure.
Uti on another occasion, my friend said, as I reflect now on 6 months of dating a very nice woman, and think of our first date, I realize now that I should have followed my instinct and not had the second date.
He did mention the beauty part. Women do deceive us about that beauty thing,
Yeah, but then instincts don't lie. Yeah, because mostly now, but we are born a waste 6 months of his life.
And it doesn't only happen with us guys to females. I've had times whereby I've been attracted to a certain female. She didn't know me at all. I was the one who kept on picking up on her, staring at her secretly. So one day I decided to approach her, and say my things, and get her to falling into me. So she fell in love with the idea of who I was that she had in her head, like she looked at me physically and then she decided, no, this guy, unje, without actually knowing me. And one goma said date and the first few days were nice, but later on, I think she noticed that I'm not the kind of person she thought I was, because azange sibe nesikhathi enough sokuthi angifunde yena angazi.
Walk church from a distance.
Yeah, man, it's a bad experience. It's a really bad experience. I don't wish to go back there again.
But at least she took time to know you and then realized that no.
Yeah, later on.
You're not the one.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. No, so let's see Bambilapu and then let's go to an earthquake
Sure.
Masinya. Back to the show, guys. I hope you're still enjoying the conversation, and I hope the entire show has motivated you to pick up a book and read.
Yes, and another thing I've been wondering about ukuthi ngabe abanye bababukeli bethu are book readers and book lovers. Uma umuntu onokuyifunda incwadi or osithanda incwadi, engage with us. Sichazele ukuthi wena, how many books do you read? And about that, we lost. So. One of our phone, you are quite an opposing person. So tell me, when on this section, every morning of breakfast, you go from Siyabonga opposana because I know you.
No, go koni Puzulana that I strongly disagree with that. Let me just quote it for Wena. So it says, if you believe in all these possibilities, then the problem is not the other person. You know who it is. It's you. First of all, you can't reshape, remake, or reconstruct another person to that degree. You can't get gold out of a mind that's filled with lead. So, mina angivumelani nalento in terms of ukuthi, like, I believe you can change a person. Like, if umuntu umthanda ngaleyo ndlela, you are willing to make changes about yourself and about your life, and vice versa. If umuntu ekuthanda they are willing to change, whether it's behaviors or red flags that you're not comfortable with. They have the ability to change if they want to change. That's my belief.
Okay. Yeah, and that was my question. Ngisanzobuza nje ukuthi phela kenzeka ukuthi isikhathi thothi mhlambe umuntu imisele kumshintsha but akafuni ukushintsha, and at other times because since vele ukuze ushintshe umuntu you notice red flags athize ngayo.
Yes.
Then usuzoba ne plan ukuthi mhlawumbe ufisa ukumshintsha abe umuntu kanjani kulezo zinto because uyamthanda ngithi. Yeah. So isiphi isikhathi is right mhlawumbe sokuthi ungashintsha umuntu. I mean khona abantu abangeke baziba notice ukuthi mhlawumbe into ethize ingama red flags or mhlawumbe ikulimaza kangakanani. Abangeke bakwazi ukuthi babe ne influence enough or into eziba influence enough ukuthi bazi bayishintshele bona.
Yeah. No, I think a sign of not willing to change is also another red flag that you should look for. Like, like it's two different personalities. Obviously, there's gonna be glitches and compromises of mele ends. So both parties need to be willing to change. So if you're not willing to change, that's a red flag on its own. Meaning, we can move forward.
But saying mhlambe umuntu abusive, a female usebudlelwaneni nomuntu abusive, a male abusive person. So lo muntu lokuyamshaya perhaps bana nezingane ulokuyamshaya yabo. Lenti affecta nane relationship ingane zizokhula zine mentality ehlukile yabo when it comes to ubaba. So cause umama uyamthanda kumele enzeni mhlambe akumele mhlambe uyamshiya lo muntu esikhundleni sokuthi azame ukumshintsha.
No, it depends. Communication is very important. What leads to ukshayana? Like, no, women approach is very wrong. But going back, how did it start? And then yes, you are abusive or utata advantage because our Congo's defender. Then or go to the police station because they're not willing to change. So obvious.
So you are saying it depends
yes, willingness to change. That's the first red flag. Are they willing to change? If yes, then work on them. Maybe they do need help changing. if you are born with it, there's no willingness to change, then just
I feel you, man. Sakhuluma nje ngendaba zama abuse kuna point la kuyo page 7 the second point above mosuka eqaleni ikhuluma ithi if your partner hurts you physically, don't proceed. So siyazi vele ukuthi isikhathi esiningi abantu abahethwayo physically abantu besifazane. Okay, ngicela mhlawumbe into eningi singavumelana nakuloko, but na into engifuna ukuzwa kuyona. The second point ithi the emotional abuse is more difficult to identify, but it can involve lack of respect and controlling. And you know ukuthi isikhathi esiningi vele abantu ababused emotionally abantu besilisa, you know. So when mhlawumbe so you have an experience you think you're being abused emotionally?
I think to a certain extent, I've felt like I've been emotionally abused.
Sure.
And especially if you look at suicide stats like South Africa, like most people who commit suicide like South Africa, it's males. It's because of what you were talking on, emotional abuse. And sometimes a woman would take advantage of because you're a good guy and so forth. I know good you am tender and you won't physically hurt the person and things like that. So we are piling up all zonke lezo zinto lezo. And another thing that is to talk. Like you keep bottling things up until uzubona ngathi your only option is to die.
It's very hard expressing yourself. Kunzima kakhulu ukuchaza ama emotions akho. I'm not sure if I've ever been in an emotional abusive relationship. I'm really not sure, but one thing I know is that I'm one quiet person. It's really hard for me to express myself. Ngiyathola mhlawumbe bakhona nabanye besilisa abanye abanaleyo problem ngoba you don't even know ukuthi mhlawumbe you're being emotionally abused and stuff like that, you know.
Manje udistressa kanjani if you're saying you're a quiet person, like izinto mazingahambi kahle, what do you do ukuze ube okay?
Music, man. I like listening to music. Kwesinye isikhathi I prefer just taking a walk, you know, ngihambe on a sunset and then come back. Kwesinye isikhathi then no, I'm not a singer.
So what's stopping you from, you know, communicating with your partner and talking things through?
Kwesinye isikhathi, you know, you feel like when you're expressing yourself umuntu wakho ngathi mhlawumbe uyazibhilihila yabona into kanjalo mhlawumbe uzenzibo
usaba ukuthi uzokujudge mhlawumbe
mhlawumbe when she knows too much of you naleyo feel ukuthi when she knows too much of you mhlawumbe usezoba abusive or controlling, I mean yabona into kanjalo. So this line goes like, emotional abuse is more difficult to identify, but it can involve lack of respect and controlling. So lala ngizwe ngathi since abantu besifazane ku isikhathi esiningi vele kubona babe engaged or mhlawumbe bayithelwe involved ku physical abuse. Githi nabantu abasilisa vice versa ukuthi we are getting abused emotionally, and isikhathi esiningi we can't identify that most yethu singama mates. So mhlawumbe wena mfowethu ikhona mhlawumbe i-relationship ongathi ukubaba kuyona wezwe ngathi uba emotionally abused mhlawumbe into kanjalo kuyona?
Yeah, I think I do have some experience in Yana with emotional abuse. But what I also think why it's difficult to identify emotional abuse is because it's different for everyone. Like in certain words, akuphatha in a certain way, but I'm not aware. Those words are normal, give me. So emotionally, when you uphatha by something that give me, it's normal. It's everyday language and things like that. So I think a way around it is communication. You know, whether it's ingane, it's your partner or things like that. You should say when you're speaking in this tone or in this language, you know, I feel abused. And then in that way, you know, I can try and change the way I speak to you and the tone that I use. You know, we just see now.
I feel you. It's quite the problem we have. It's not that easy with this communicating, express, especially isn't it deep, is it emotional. It's never that easy, man. So, how do you salute that?
You know, I think it's one of the leading causes why is suicide goma males like South Africa in we don't know how to express ourselves. You know, sinamelo to just to bottle up things inside until zibe too much and ubona ngathi the only way out ukuthi mhlawumbe uzibulala and things like that.
Kanti ithulo vele isikhathi esiningi mhlawumbe umtshiti bayade mthanda kakhulu ugela and akakwazi ukuthi angambeka isandla so bancamela ukuthi abanye bazibayibulale looking izinto abezenzile mhlawumbe they spend a lot of money zamkumsiza a lot of effort into kanjalo
yabo it builds up to a point where nje ubona ngathi yabo ayisekho enye indlela mhlawumbe ayisekho into oyiphilelayo and things like that. Kanti nje if you can talk even if it's not your partner, maybe a parent or a friend or somebody, I think if singaqala leyo culture as South African means but no it's not a weakness ukukhuluma about your emotions, you know, even to cry like ukhale and talk.
Do you cry?
No, I do cry, but mangingeto, like because I'm not an expressive person, so sometimes I feel like I'm going to express my emotions. So sometimes my way to just cry them out, like you feel better and you cool back and beat.
Man. But I think because it's not always that case. Umuntu uyazi ukuthi kumele express then they just can't express themselves. Because isikhathi kenzeka uthola ukuthi mhlawumbe umuntu akazi nanokuthi he's being emotionally abused. Kenzeka lokuthi ungakhona ukurealize ukuthi yabona la I'm being emotionally abused. Mhlawumbe I can say perhaps I'm one of them because I really don't understand what's happening when I say emotionally abused or into kanjalo. And ngiwomunye wabantu nami who find it hard to express themselves emotionally, especially mhlawumbe kuma partners akho because isikhathi you feel ukuthi mhlawumbe when I talk, I express kakhulu emotionally. Should know too much of me as a controlling and stuff like that.
Oh, so when you start to express yourself because you don't want to open up too much of yourself to your partner,
I don't feel comfortable with that, man. Like I don't know.
Or your weaknesses.
Yeah, I can say that, and it is created. Is this season of it? That's what you just couldn't move. Almost tell you, you must kind of it. Don't be uncles and stuff and so. Most about 2 penny you want so. So don't jump. That's one of the reasons why Gugun's Maranga is expressed when it comes to Mundram.
But then I think again, we can, if we go back to the book, you need to take time to know a person before over involved in a serious, serious. If wazana nomuntu mhlambe in a friendship basis ganje, as iskhathi samba, you guys get to know each other. Now we look over open bit by bit, and over time ugcine esegwazi. So I think in that way ugcine sekulula ukuthi uz express even noma issue inkulu, but because leyo muntu usu feel secure yabo useyakhona ukuthi nje uz express ukhona ukukhuluma ngama problems wakho, ukhona mhlawumbe ukuthola uncedo.
Sure, that's deep, man.
Maybe relationship yakho hasn't reached that point, mhlawumbe isase fresh. Or something like that. But you will get there, ungawari.
Man. So unfortunately, Bafeto, I think we've just come to an end of our show for today, and engage what are your thoughts, what are your views about listening to this namhlanje. And next week, don't forget to guest and so discuss a further more because I believe it's a Quebec. So for today, thank you.
Please join us next week.